How's it going, everybody? My name is FaZe Crypto, and today we are talking about NCASH, Nucleus Vision, connecting the unconnected. Something can be said about the future of the Internet of Things and all the different levels of society that have the capability of leveraging the powers of the Internet and the powers of technology that are currently out there right now. And when it comes to Nucleus Vision, it's definitely really interesting to see all the different, basically, the things that are currently operating in society that are going to be getting so much bigger thanks to revolutionary technologies such as Nucleus Vision. And I think when it comes to the fact that every single person who's walking around has a cell phone on them, and the fact that society is basically moving in a direction that's being more and more data conscious in all these different variables, there's definitely a market opening up for a technology to basically leverage that public consciousness shift that's happening regarding the way that people use their data and so forth. And retail outlets are completely due for an overhaul when it comes to the fact that there's so much foot traffic that's walking around in these different retail outlets with all this information on their phones, as far as advertising preference data and all these different variables as far as the way that the shoppers and all these different things that we currently can't even grasp upon. Connecting the unconnected is certainly an interesting way to look at it, and I think that it's a perfect way perfect example of what Nucleus Vision is really looking forward to do. You take one look at the fact that it's worldwide and all these different variables that are coming into connection. Even when I look at the news regarding Nucleus Vision, there's these different things that talk about how it's taking steps to becoming a global currency. So there's something to be said on that note. And there's a lot of different variables coming into coordination in regards to this technology. And when I think about a platform that's going to be having a real influence on the world of tomorrow, because look, when I look at this list of cryptocurrencies on here, Nucleus Vision, I think, is well established in that number 98 position. And I think that there's a lot of potential for them to be moving up further in a short amount of time. So it is definitely interesting to be seeing all these different variables as they've been coming together in such a short amount of time. And there's something that every single one of these technologies that's doing well have in common, and that's the fact that the public is recognizing that there's something of value within these technologies. And Nucleus Vision is always on, not always, but the public is definitely shifting their attention to the technologies that are going to be revolutionary in the future. And if the crypto that you're paying attention to is not really fundamentally reshaping the paradigm and really influencing things in a fundamental way, it might get left behind. And I think that technologies like Nucleus Vision are due to really gain a lot more attention as we continue to move forward, especially in the current climate that we've been seeing regarding cryptocurrency with the $438 billion market cap. It is nice to be seeing that there is some possibility for upward mobility. And of course, seeing a lot of the things in the green is definitely a confidence renewal in regards to the totality of these technologies. And of course, we have to pay attention to what's happening to Bitcoin at all times, regardless of what your feelings on it are. There is something to be said in regards to its influence on the public conversation and the way that people regard it in the public space. But of course, it's always important to stay tuned in and in the know when it comes to the different information. So I definitely recommend that everybody go and follow Nucleus Vision on their official Twitter. And of course, while you're at it, make sure that you follow me on my Twitter, and that's at CryptoTuber. And I'll actually be including a link to my Twitter down in the description below. So if you're interested in connecting with me, you can do so via Twitter. And it's really awesome to see how all these different across all these different social media platforms, we've managed to grow grow our community so quickly. And I'm always interested in hearing what you guys have to say on Twitter. And of course, remember, this video is for entertainment, educational purposes only. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. The whole purpose of this video is for me to share my opinion, and that's exactly what this content is, 100% in my opinion, for discussion purposes. So of course, I'm always interested in hearing what you guys have to say regarding these technologies. And of course, remember, I'm not your dad, so I'm not responsible for any decision you may or may not make regarding Nucleus Vision. But when it comes down to it, we're all responsible for our own decisions, and my audience is pretty woke. You guys pretty much understand this disclaimer inside and out at this point, but I think it's important for the community to hear these sort of things. But in speaking of that, speaking of the community, I'm actually going to be including a link to this video by Cryptocosm. And if you guys are interested, you can find a link to this content in the description. I think that this is a really awesome show that these people have going for them, and I'm actually going to be following them on their Twitter as well, because I think that it's important to grow the community. And of course, you guys should definitely go and subscribe to this channel and check out this 28-minute video that really goes into good detail, expanding upon a lot of similar things we've talked about regarding NCASH, and of course going into further detail. And I'm going to be following them on Twitter. Yeah, it's awesome that we've been able to build this community, and I feel like I've made a lot of friends just by interacting with everybody who has interesting things to say regarding these technologies. So I encourage everybody in the audience to comment down below and share any information that you may have or anything interesting that you might know about Nucleus Vision. It's always interesting to hear these things moving forward. And of course, remember to subscribe and so forth. But all that being said, it is interesting to see what's been happening with Nucleus Vision, and I hope a lot of interesting things do in the near short future. And I think that Nucleus Vision is definitely a really substantial technology looking forward in regards to cryptocurrency. But of course, when I think about the future that's in store for all levels of society, Nucleus Vision is definitely one of those technologies that definitely gets my attention in regards to the way that technology seems to be moving right now, and analyzing the trends that are currently happening and unfolding in regards to how cryptocurrency is being applicable to multiple aspects of society. It's all part of that same revolutionary time now that we're going through, where we're seeing all these different variables coming into coordination. And we're so early in regards to cryptocurrency. We're so ahead of this curve that basically it's a lot of it's theoretical, understanding how these things are going to be looking in the future. And for those of us who are not exactly visionaries, not all of us can get an idea of what the future will look like, in part due to the fact that a lot of people aren't very keen on doing so much research in regards to the future. Why anybody wouldn't be interested in the future it is beyond me, because it's very interesting when you start to think about all the different things that are going to be connected to the internet, and all the different variables of pretty much all levels of society are going to be influenced in one way or another by cryptocurrency. And Nucleus Vision is essentially positioning itself, leveraging all the right things that are important when it comes to cryptocurrency, all these different variables in particular, especially the global aspect of the whole thing. Very exciting for anybody who's been involved with cryptocurrency for any amount of time. I think this is one of the substantial reasons why Nucleus Vision has gained so much popularity in such a short amount of time. Now, I understand this technology hasn't necessarily been around for that in particular in comparison to all the other cryptocurrencies. Nucleus Vision is fairly new. An argument can be made that it's come a long way in such a short amount of time due to the various levels of social media and the different components thereof involving how communities have basically built surrounding the vision that is NCASH. And it is definitely something to be said. I mean, you look at all these different countries that have this availability for this technology, and it is something to be said. I mean, all these different household names getting involved with the technology as well. So as far as looking forward and seeing the different cryptocurrencies that are in particular interesting, on my perspective, I would certainly say that NCASH Nucleus Vision is one of those technologies that looking forward is really going to be having a big impact on the way that people live their lives. So it's certainly something that I'm paying attention to moving forward.